Hi everyone, welcome to White Noise. My name is Robyn and I am your host today. It's just going to be our regularly scheduled event today, except we have a very special kind of feature, I suppose. We have a Romanian poet named James Minnis who sent in a recording of himself reading his poetry, and we're going to be playing that for you to start off, and it's going to be awesome and you're going to be blown away, and it's, what more do I need to say? So yeah, let's just dive right into it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So without further ado, welcome James Minnis.
A parable born without arms or legs, without warning or star, without a blister or a heel, without a blister on its heel. What was it you had in mind? How will I know the difference when I wake? The ugly man is upon us. His hunger has no roots in earth, no branches in the stratosphere. But there's enough food for everybody. Enough good, enough rancid, enough butter and terror. Everybody's got a right to eat. Everybody's got a right to sleep in some sort of cocoon. Everybody's dreaming about everybody else. Everybody's crowding under the same spineless umbrella. Everybody's falling in love with the same rebellious fantasy. In the evening, in the curve of a right angle, lying on his back, clunky shoes kicking wildly inside his blue, soiled sleeping bag. Transparent poison coursing veins, his wool 2 feet tall and growing, made of New York Times and Daily News, smoking hand-rolled bugle tobacco. In the evening, on a stool in the shadows, this stick-figure Brahmin killed a rat with a broom by a humming empty fridge, having shared a handful of peanuts to lure it, tossed it from our third-story window onto East 5th Street, collecting disability for a festering wound on an incarnation, periodically pruning 20s from my stash stuffed in toilet paper tubes in the closet. 15 years later, confessed to me from his ultimate bed in Bellevue, cleansing a path out of confusion, out of his oxygen-starved environment of self-loathing, sweeping away the infinite trail of peanut shells. This man was family to me, to all nautically crippled transients, telling the truth to the whipping stick while lying to love and to life. Shreeder, Buppet, Brignu, Agni, Arjuna, rocket, vodka-burning missile of the greasy subterranean. Wake up, brother, your soul's on fire. Sitting on the mythical lap of a mythical grandfather, of the mythical prime minister of a mythical land. An isolated being walking through dusk, through you. Beneath the arch of your weakest bone, throat bone with the horns of a young bull, an unbroken yearling still free of spirit and virile. Because of a myth born of ink, blue ink, black ink, red ink, no ink, some ink, weak ink, weak link. Why me? Because of sleep and the myth of calculus. Because of the wild boar. Because of a child born of approximation. In the evening, in a hospital somewhere in a mind without bearings. What? What now? Can't find my wife or newborn baby boy. Wrong floor, wrong door, out the back exit by accident. Shit! A street, a crowded kiosk, red sun bouncing from the middle door, slamming shut and locking behind me. Somebody push me. Fuck you, you fuck what? Now what? In the evening, walking through you. Through an unknown third world town, getting dark. No money, no cell phone, no new invention in my pocket, no one to call, no clue of what country it is, of what language it is, wondering where I'll eat, sleep, hide. Suddenly, eyes wide, an audible snap of synapses. Pop! Stopping abruptly in the broad, blood-red sunset. It's a dream. Everything about me, is my dream. Is paradise, the air, the ground, the man pushing, the bloodied eyebrows, anger and fist, all are me, are paradise. Walking towards the red light down a narrow, red, sunlit brick road, turning my head to the right, looking through a wooden gate in a high stone wall. A woman, long, black, gleaming hair, cradling eyes. Elizabeth Taylor, maybe? No. An equivalent to Elizabeth Taylor from India, maybe? Flawless reflection of nothing from her pupils. Riveting me. Why? Why me? Sliding her fingers along the neck of an all-born horse, black mane, an Arabian horse maybe? Looking into my eyes. Searching for me. For a conscious self. Veering towards her, crunching across gravel, embracing, kissing, melding. Why me? The music. Why me? The music. Why me? The love. For me on her lips is my love. Why me? Because of something that happened to the mythical grandson of the mythical grandfather. Because life is a sponge. Because truth is a sponge. Because myth is a sponge. Because of the ocean floor and desire. Because of Prometheus, maybe. An equivalent Prometheus from India, maybe. A sneaky Indian Prometheus, maybe. Because Prometheus is a sponge. Because Bragnew is a sponge. Because music is a sponge. Because capitalism is also a blind, heartless sponge and a delusional myth. Why me? Fire. Why me? More fire. Why me? Because of fire. What now? Dreams of fire. What now? Dreams of vodka and fire, of peanut shells covering the floor. Whiskey, whiskey, a dog named Whiskey. In the night. In the night. In the fire. Why me? In the fire. No, never again Arjuna, Arjuna, Sridhar, 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 Bapat, Brignu, Agni, Iris, Sakit. No, never again, my brother. Why me? Why not? Why me? Not you. Why not both of us? No, never again, my brother. Why me? Vijayandi Mala Bali, maybe? No. Vijayandi Mala Bali made a miss, maybe? No. Not even. Never again.
Thank you, James Menace. I hope you're seeing this. Thank you for sending that in. That was wonderful and super powerful. We were all floored. Yeah, appreciate it. And if anyone else has a friend, relative who lives far away and would love to send in a video, they are totally welcome to. Clearly, we can do that, as you just saw. Let's move right into the open mic, though, starting with Peter Camilleri. Welcome to the stage.
If you were lost at all in the last few minutes, I hope that this can help you be found, but I don't have too much hope for that either. I'm going to read a poem and then a story. This is called Deadline Route. I talk about this Roman festival, which was done like around the cross quarter, Groundhog's Day, this Sunday. It's called Lupercal. Lupercal. So this is called Deadline Route. I missed the deadline. A kernel on fire brought to null space. Buried talent. We meet again, this time lovers, squirming in a net fashioned by the lame god. Taxonomic circumscription severs Lupercal and Valentine, lends the once inseparable dyad of rigid club moss blind siege to extended purification for a season or 3. In Hebrew, to be saved is to breathe freely red dust in the wind. Now, irascibility follows your sound, like flagella swoon the ocean's oars. No one wants to reckon the idea that violence is not exclusive perversion. If biofuel is the start and end of Eros, imagine spring before the deadline roots. Okay, so thank you. So there's this interesting question, like you're writing for the page or for the ear. Postmodern stuff and stuff that we're probably conventionalized to reading is probably for the page the last 100 years, last 50 years, 75 years, whatever. So I appreciate this, David, Robyn, and audience, and us in general being here. I learn a lot about writing by having to listen to myself say the words that I put down that I'm asking your minds to read and my own mind. So with that in mind, I don't know what's going to be confusing or clear or not, but I'm going to try to be articulate. This piece is still in progress, but I guess the motifs and stuff will come up as they do. So I hope you enjoy.
Move closer to the mic.
Sure thing.
And keep the voice up some.
How's that? This is called The Sleeping Man. I guess I started this in 2015. One particularly warm weekday morning near the end of October 2015, on the south side of the Uptown 4 line at 59th and Lex, on the way to a very important presentation for which he had already received payment, a young man by the name of Joseph Kramer, glimpsing over the edge of the yellow bumpy platform strip, scratching his cranium like a drunken baboon, was observed watching train after train pass by. At the tender age of being just out of college and without the recorded assistance of any third-party contributors, Joseph had developed an application for cell phones that could be marketed as both educational and entertaining. Advertised as such, it was swallowed whole by the public at large as a most welcome source of socially acceptable and immediate gratification, in no small part owing also to the fact that the functions of its most practical use to its manufacturers remained unspecified. It was 9:30 a.m. Joseph was supposed to be in half an hour on stage addressing about 800 soon-to-be graduates at the elite public high school in the Bronx. He was supposed to address the question of recent innovations in technology and the corporate partnerships that had made possible his sudden fortune. He had envisioned exactly how he would tell high school students to think, talk, and behave if they wished to emulate contemporary success. After all, he had endured their self-same insecurities only 4 years before and had gathered the acumen to address them. Mobs of suits, jackets, ties, blazers, sneakers, heels, fabric, fibers, perfumes, odors, looks, glances, glimpses, curses, and thoughts poured out the most recently halted train, jostled their way past his immobility. It made no sense at all. From what I had gathered and from what I had seen, it was no exaggeration to dub him punctual, remarkably and deliberately so. In less than 3 weeks, he had spoken, to good effect, at a few of the influential clubs between Park and Fifth. He'd received invitations to the private quarters of the women he wanted. Not one of any of his new acquaintances had yet spoken a word against his name, and he had managed to keep each of his many regular appointments. Meanwhile, there he stood like a brick as another train swept by. All of a sudden, he knelt by the platform strip and dropped his phone onto the tracks. To put ordinary so-called thinking to the task of appreciating the magnitude of a future largely governed by algorithmic code is the inescutcheon of a little bit of knowledge serving as a dangerous thing. It doesn't take a paranoid schizophrenic, to use the colloquialism, to wonder about the destination of all the information we place in our phones, texts, emails, online orders, browsers, videos, calls, messages. However, the general security of the mind of the average so-called user of such technologies is, I find, often guarded by a distracting angel or devil, whose primary function in that moment of potential investigation serves to maintain the convenience of a status quo, a kind of rudimentary armistice with the mental homeostasis of the surrounding culture, thereby flouting the potentially nagging thoughts that could be summarized by the following 3 questions. Who else might be privy to what I say on the phone? What does what I say indicate about myself? And why, at this very moment now, is it that I must reach for my phone and permit these digits I'd like to call mine to send a particular set of alphabetic sequence? In the service of continuing public and domestic tranquility, that angel or devil might also silently assuage the question of why, in fact, was it at that moment that I remembered the recipient of my purported message? Assuming the temporary suspension of action of such buffering agents, thought might proceed to say, if I sent the message now instead of later, would the consequence to the recipient or myself be any better? Is it possible that my very hesitancy in pressing send has already compromised something between us and between us and the world? Furthermore, assuming that the message I had intended to send is marked by my own words, instead of words doctored up by my sensitivity to my environment, and that I'm satisfied with the words, and that being satisfied with them is the measure by which their transmission is verifiably my own, whatever that really means, what does the message say about myself? And to whom, in addition to my intended recipient? Even if I were an atheist, incredulous or downright enlightened, and there existed in me absolutely no fear at all of moral or superstitious consequence, the fact that a part of myself, stored in the message, transmitted through a medium, the phone, at a certain time on a certain date, in the shabby light of our grand Cartesian heritage, one which concerns algorithms greatly, who else might view it, and to what purpose? A cursory glance at my sent emails, especially those sent to former lovers, therapists, and those sent in drunken revelry, surely depict a piece of a character of myself. The patterns of speech, diction, interplay of nouns, adjectives, verbs, what I emphasize or avoid, shrewdly, psychologically, falsely, or truly. Nevertheless, whatever it is, those coordinates of time, place, and alphabetic signage can't help but signify, and to whom. Those letter writers of the past were surely closer to nature, to the sinew of pulp. Yet how can I make the mistake of corroborating the great lie that phones, the electric impulses of the internet, are not merely another source of great nature, as much as so is the very gaze by which messages are sent, received, perceived. So is the force of the message there, by electricity, taken to somehow greater significance? By what measure? That of its being more widely dispersed? If I write a letter, even if it's scanned for anthrax, filed in a massive database imbued by postal X-rays, and, before reaching the eyes of my dear recipient, becomes an object of witnessing, then drats. Even before such oligarchies of surveillance, the text itself would be beholden to the stagecoach on which rides the ancient mailman and his satchel, and at least to myself and my conscience, to speak nothing of thaumaturgy and its attendant forces. Then, now, in the absence of popular interest in postal ghosts, who stands in to observe what we write on the internet and through our phones? College students who acquiesce to the authority of grading are resigned to submitting their papers and thoughts to syndicates of plagiarism detection software that compile and cross-reference inconceivable swaths of language like threads of an identity. I swear that, given the magnitude of the absorption of data accumulated by any particular server in the span of 120 seconds over the distance of 1 square mile of New York City, and that is an overly generous estimate, the entire past, present, and future of the entirety of mankind could be recapitulated, repeated, presented, copied, transposed, to say nothing of the accuracy with which some server or its attendant agents could corroborate a solitary individual's habitual actions by way of singular investigation of a relatively small set of data points associated with that individual's location and time of usage. What time is it? It could even be not too far-fetched to imagine a vast storehouse of voices, sounds compiled in voicemails, voice messages, over-the-phone records of sonic moments peeped out from one to another, maybe even for the sake of making new voices, or perhaps imitating one's own, making a copy of one's own voice to be transmitted for purposes. At this particular juncture of thought, the angel or devil, having received reinforcements on the heels of an adroitly timed solar flare, cut short the thinking apparatus of the average so-called user of such technologies, so as to stave off the kind of potential pseudo-metempsychosis just then at the edge of Joseph's experience, one that might cause a halt in the everyday run of affairs, with all its transactions, messages, consequences, inconsequences, merriments, and fears, especially those illustrating the question of faith one commits in the presumption that the one on the other line of the phone is the same as the one who one imagines. Certain competitors of Joseph's app company had hired me to dig up some dirt on him, but the case wouldn't budge. After 3 weeks, I was even beginning to like the guy. Typically, he'd rather die than show up late to an event he planned to attend, let alone commence. Principal Ackerman, the recently hired head of his alma mater at the summit of the Four Line, was having a conniption. 800 high school seniors crowded the auditorium, and she was a fool. That morning, someone had mentioned to her, in passing, that Joseph should be considered yet another irrefutable genius savant who had walked out the doors of the legendary institute now in her care, and consequently that she should, 1, chalk up his absence to something simply outside of ordinary human control, and 2, spend no time dallying before trying to contact him again. For some reason that day, Joseph could not understand why he was inherently compelled to avoid the train up to the school, and he'd be damned if he didn't at least try to figure it out. From the south side of the tunnel emanated another sharp, narrow light. He found himself rummaging through his pockets, grazing against a MetroCard timer and set of keys. "Where's my phone?" he muttered, and remembered it buzzing on the tracks. On a bench, an old man wearing a gray wig and beard was snoring. For all Joseph knew, the old man was merely pretending to be asleep and had been watching the whole time. A part of the thought sent a strange tremor up Joseph's spine, all the way through to his metacarpus. The light in the tunnel was growing brighter. "So you're going to do it or not?" the old man said. Joseph leaned over the bumpy yellow edge of the platform. "No," replied Joseph. "That's good," said the old man. "How do you know?" asked Joseph. Whatever the old man said, Joseph didn't hear over the din of the incoming train. Ignoring and blocking the outgoing passengers, Joseph stared at the old man. The commuters walked around him. "Get out of their way before I call you an idiot," the old man said. "Sit down over here." By that time, despite a trace of the momentary sense of being more awake, Joseph's hands were acting without his knowledge. He was gnawing at a nail and he was scratching his head. He had not expected the old man to speak. The train left the station. "Great," said the old man. "Now check if another's coming." Joseph looked down the tunnel. There was no other train. "All right," said the old man. "Jump down there and get your phone. I'll help you back up." For once, Joseph was happy to receive and obey orders. He wasn't thinking about Principal Ackerman, the students, his lateness, anything. "Would you like to play a game?" the old man asked. "Yes." "Good. It's called phone rail. You throw the phone on the rail, and if it lands and sticks, you win. If I throw it and it sticks, I win. 1 round. You go first." "Great," agreed Joseph. He lobbed the phone. It clanked off the rail and landed on the tracks. "Go get it," said the old man. Joseph jumped down the tracks and threw the phone to the old man. "Your turn," said Joseph. "Get back up here, quick," said the old man. "That was close as hell," he said. "You're not supposed to die yet. We already established that." "Do you know any jokes?" said the old man. Joseph shook his head. "Okay, my turn." The phone that Joseph had thrown up to him was in the old man's pocket. Another phone, one that looked identical to the one Joseph had tossed him, was in the old man's hand. He flung it hard as he could against the tracks. "That wasn't part of the game," Joseph said. "You're right," said the old man. "It was a stupid game, so I made up a new one." "Why?" "The measure you take from Y is the measure you bring to it." Joseph was impressed and wanted to impress in turn. "Watch this," he said. He took out the timer and jumped between the tracks. He placed the timer on the rail and tried to balance it precisely. In silence, the two waited. The train came, and the timer fell off the track. Joseph looked at him. "It vibrates," said the old man. "The rail vibrates. The whole station vibrates. You forgot duct tape." Joseph said nothing. "Can I take you out for lunch?" "Sure thing." "You muttered half your life story before I said anything. I wasn't sure which way I should bet." "I thought you were asleep." "I thought you're asleep." In the diner, they spoke little. A waitress came to take their order. Joseph looked out the window. The old man had a coffee. Joseph had a turkey club and 3 pancakes for dessert. He ate everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. That was lovely. I don't think I could bear anyone else talking about a text message for like 8 minutes like I could with you. So thanks. It's nice to see you again. Next up, we have Zelda, aka Judith Z. Miller. Welcome to the stage.
I'm Zelda, aka Judith Z. Miller, and I'm a storyteller. I'm not feeling great tonight, but I'm here. So the name of the story I'm going to tell is called Zabu Goes to Federal Prison. But I want to make it very clear because this is a very small town and everybody knows everybody and every dog person knows every dog person. This story is not about my current Great Dane, Zazel, full name Mademoiselle Zazel. It is about my first of 4 Great Danes, Zabu. Don't confuse them. Zabu is no longer with us. Zabu goes to federal prison. If I were a rich man, boop, that's me, dancing up the stairs, laughing, singing my heart out at the top of my lungs, music blasting. Hey, what's a nice Jewish girl like me gonna do when she's moving into a new apartment? It's 1982, and I'm not moving into just any old apartment. No. I am moving into the second floor of a townhouse apartment right across from the Women's Federal Penitentiary in West Virginia with the artistic director of our theater company, who is also my female lover, and my 130-pound Harlequin Great Dane, Zabu. I am excited and scared. Squeaky from the Manson family member and the woman who tried to shoot President Gerald Ford is housed over there. And who knows what other kind of criminals I might meet. Turn that music down! Whoa, a demanding male voice from the apartment below. Big, tall man emerges. Short military haircut, prison guard uniform. He shields his steely eyes and he looks up at me like he is willing to kill me. Now! Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, no problem. Right away, yes, sir. I find out that the man living below us, my lover and I, is nicknamed the Captain, one of the most ruthless and feared guards in the prison. And he just happens to be the one who relishes throwing female inmates into solitary for long stints if they are caught having sex with other inmates. The man scares me. I also find out that there are basically no Jews in West Virginia, 0.1%. So clearly my idle-dum dancing up the stairs was probably not my best choice. Well, the next day, my partner and I go in to meet with the warden because we'll be there for 6 weeks. She's a very tough bitch whom I dislike immediately. And she's telling us the various rules and the regulations and what you can do and where you can't go, and the fact that there's no sexual contact between the women. And I start to say something, and ow, my partner kicks me under the table. Why are you kicking me? Me, always the socially aware one. Well, she also tells us we can't go anywhere alone in the prison. So the next day, I am being escorted into the prison by a guard escort. And we approach the front desk, and the guard sitting at the front desk looks at me up and down with a look of revulsion and disgust, nostrils flared, like she is smelling and looking at a human pile of stinking shit. And then my escort introduces us. This is Miss Miller. She's here on a grant from the D.C. Commission on the Arts. She's co-teaching acting workshops for the inmate. Oh! Miss Miller, it's so lovely to have you here. Suddenly she's like all smiles and pleasantries. Well, every day we go into the prison for 4 hours. And when we go in, I leave my Great Dane, Zabu, up on the balcony overlooking this big, grassy, beautiful meadow with a house way in the distance and the prison wire here. After we work long days in the prison, Sometimes I just need to take a bike ride through that grassy meadow. And it was an intense day. So I am gliding along in that meadow, and Zabu is cantaloping, canto-galloping, a thing being a horse, an Appaloosa pony, black and white, gorgeous, cantering along. The wind is blowing through my hair, and she's powerful, graceful, poetry in motion. All of a sudden, like a bat out of hell, Zabu takes off towards that house in the distance. I call and call, but she doesn't respond. Oh my God, it's that poodle sitting at the front step of that house. Zabu, no, no, come, no. I run breathless to the front step, and the dog is limp, lifeless, dead. I grab Zabu by the collar. I hook her up to the leash. I pedal back to the apartment, and I climb up the stairs, and I must look horribly flush when I enter the door, and my girlfriend's like, what happened? What happened? Honey, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm taking Zabu. They're going to come. They're going to kill Zabu. And she's like, what are you talking about? I rush into the closet. I grab my suitcase, and I start opening drawers, underwear, socks, another pair of pants. Okay, 2 shirts. Let's go. What else do I need? My toothbrush. Okay, dog food. Honey, what is going on? Zabu killed a dog. You know, that big standard poodle that sometimes sits in front of that house way over there. They're going to come. They are going to come with guns, and they are going to kill Zabu. I have to leave right now. So I take my suitcase, I grab my dog, I throw them in my car. Oh, water for the dog. And I drive. Wait, where am I driving? I pull over. Okay, drive back to Washington, D.C. Drive back home to your apartment in Washington, D.C. So I drive home, and on the way, I stop at a pay phone. And I call my girlfriend. Sweetie, are you okay? They've surrounded the apartment. They have guns. They're pointing their guns at me. The colonel is leading the pack. They're demanding Zabu. Okay, sweetheart, listen to me, okay? I am also terrified, okay? But I'm with you right now, okay? Listen to me. Breathe with me, okay? For a minute, just a minute. Take a deep breath now. One more, honey. Okay, listen. You know that little night light in the bathroom? Turn the little night light on. Leave the door open. Turn off all the lights, okay? Bend over and just crawl to the window. Open the window, okay? You got me? This is what you're going to say, all right? Really loudly with your stage voice. Right? You ready? The dog isn't here. The dog is not here. The dog is not here. Okay, honey, listen. Okay, then she took the dog. Say these a couple of times. She took the dog. I don't know where they went. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting upset. Just say it, okay? Just call it out really loudly a number of times. I'm almost home. I'm going to call you as soon as I walk in the door. I rush into the door. I call her. she's okay. The men have left. I guess they believed her. I find out the next day that the dog my dog Zabu killed was the associate warden's dog. This can't be happening. I find out the associate warden's name and phone number, and I have to call. I'm terrified, but I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say to you. I am horrified by what happened. I am so very sorry. She must have been sitting up on the balcony overlooking your house, and your dog was there, and she must have had it in for your dog, and I had no idea. She hasn't ever been in even a fight with another dog. I am so horrified. And the warden was nice, kind even, understanding, forgiving. And he told me that he would call his man off. And he also told me that the worst part of this whole horrific experience is that his dog was killed 2 days ago on the anniversary of the date his 14-year-old son was murdered 4 years ago. Ai veias minha. I decide I have to go back to the prison because I got a grant and I'm working. And I have to take Zabu. So I'm driving back, and I'm going along this little old country road. And, it's like this rickety little road, and I'm not far from the prison at all. And it's like this little, I'm going slowly. And there's this little rustling in the bushes. And I'm like, what is that? And I slow up, and then something pokes its head out. And I get out of the car, and I go, and I bend down, and it's this little emaciated little puppy. It wasn't a puppy. It was like a little doggy, but it was so emaciated it looked like a puppy. And then, so I put it in the car, and I figure, it's a sign. So I drive to the associate warden's door with this little doggy dog in my arms, head bowed, and I knock on the door, and while I'm waiting for the answer, I look at the little emaciated doggy's butt, and tapeworms are oozing out of its little teeny butthole. Well, the warden is very gracious, and he says thank you, but he doesn't want the dog. So I take it to a shelter, and I go back to the apartment, and I walk up the stairs, and I walk in the door, and my girlfriend is there, and the dog comes in, and I love her, and I am so glad that we are all alive and free and forgiven. If I were a rich man, I could dig a dum put a boom boom. Thank you. Thank you for listening to my story. I love to tell true stories. It's my real pleasure in life, and I have a lot of strange experiences, as we all do, so I love sharing it. And in case anybody wants to follow me in some fashion, you can do so by going onto Facebook and going to Artist Soul Speaks. That's ARTIST, Soul, SOUL, SPEAKS on Facebook. My Instagram was just destroyed. Don't make me talk about it because I'll have a nervous breakdown. Okay, so you can also learn about my solo queer show, which is called Que Sera, A Life's Journey of Sexual Orientation and Gender Expression, which is available for a free membership on a local platform called Hudsy, HUDSY. And if you go to hudsy.tv, although it is online, you can join for free. And what's on there is not only my show, that's like one thing, but there's lots of stuff. Everybody should know about Hudsy. If you don't know, they're like Amazon or Netflix, except they're totally free and they're totally all about the Hudson Valley. And what's great about them is they have an apprenticeship program to train young, usually younger videographers and filmmakers. They have meetups for film people all over the area, and hundreds of people attend. They document a lot of stuff that goes on the Hudson Valley. They show work by people who in the Hudson Valley. So I just want everybody to support Hudsy. But if you want to learn about my show, you can also watch it at queserashow.com. That's QUESERASHOW.com. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming even when you weren't feeling well, too. I know that's not easy, and I know I have done it many times. My one thought this whole time when you were reading is that I grew up with a dog named Sabu. So I was thinking about that dog the whole time. And she was a great dog. And dogs are the best. And we want to protect them at all costs. Yeah. Great story though, and really great storytelling. Thank you. And I forgot who's up next. Give me one second. Last time when I was here, Philip gave me some great advice where I should say the next person and the next person, right? Makes sense. Okay, so next up is Sunny Wolf, and after Sunny Wolf is Dan Feingold. So welcome to the stage, Sunny Wolf.
This is my pop's guitar that he gifted to me years and years ago. It's been on the road with me when I was homeless, living out of my car. This thing has been through a lot with me. Yeah. Here's a original song for y'all. Remember, you are love. Remember, stars above shine for everyone. Wake up and start a fire on a winter's day, yeah. And when the storms are raging, dance and give thanks for the rain. Well, ain't we all making it up as we go along? Live for today, tomorrow may never come. I love to listen to Mother Nature's song. Through the valley to the mountain top, Shanti. Oh, let there be peace. 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 Through the valley, through the mountain top, down in the deep rolling sea. Through the valley, through the mountain top, down in the deep rolling sea. Through the valley, to the mountain top, down in the deep rolling sea. Shalom. Salam alaikum. Om Shanti. Let there be peace. 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 Thank you very much. Thank you. May all beings be well and free of suffering, out of the shadow into the light. May all beings be well and free of ill will, out of the shadow into the light. May all beings be well and free of dis-ease, out of the shadow into the light. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Yeah. May all beings be well and free of suffering, out of the shadows into the light. May all beings be well and free of all disease, out of the shadow into Padme Hum. Om Mani 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 Padme Hum. May all beings be well and free of suffering, out of the shadow into the light. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here with y'all, singing some tunes for you. You can find my music on YouTube and Spotify, Sunny Wolf Music. Much love, y'all.
For new performers, I'm standing on my tippy toes right now. I don't like touching the mics. It's okay though. Thanks. You were really awesome, and you have a really beautiful voice. Thank you. Yeah, and you're incredible at playing the guitar. So, yeah. So next up we have Dan Feingold, and then after Dan we have Dagan Jolte. So welcome, Dan.
Hey, thank you all so much. It's great to be here. We've had some amazing poetry, storytelling, music, and comedy. We call that a hard act to follow. This is my first time here. This is an unbelievable setup. Can I just say I feel like I'm testifying in front of Congress right now? I love my face giant on the screen. It looks like I'm running for president in an evil way, you know? I mean, do you guys understand how insane it is what David is doing right now? He's 3 different cameramen, and he's directing and live switching the program. This is like if you were ghost riding the whip and you were also under the hood fixing the engine while you were on the phone selling insurance. That's what he's doing right now. All right, you want to hear some jokes? That's all I have, so it's what you're going to get anyway. Sorry about that. No. When bananas go bad, you get to make banana bread. That's pretty cool, right? Yeah, I wish that were true for other stuff, though. Like, I wish I could make relationship with my dad bread. I have figured out a way to get out of escape rooms really quickly. This is a real tip for you guys. Works at almost every escape room. Really simple. Throw up. You unlock a new challenge. The challenge then becomes getting into the escape room once they figure out what you look like. I'm an introvert. Do we have any other introverts in the house right now? Make some noise. Liar. No, I'm 29. As I get older, I am finding that it is becoming increasingly difficult to make childhood friends. Now, there's this really cool new guy at work. I get along with him great. I would just love to have gone to summer camp with him in 4th grade, but at this point, we're just both so busy, you know? I don't know how I feel about kids working in the entertainment industry. Honestly, I don't think that kids should work in show business. Not while there's still precious metal to be mined out of the earth. Okay, great. I knew you guys liked child labor. Awesome. Imagine if cows made milk the way that bees make honey. You walk into a crude apartment complex made of sticks and mud that the cows built. You have to scrape the milk off the walls while 1,000 cows try to swarm you. Now imagine if bees made honey the way that cows make milk. Chee-choo. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, this is a fun fact for you guys. Did you know that Botox comes from pufferfish? Yeah, that's why pufferfish all look so young and sexy. I think it's crazy that we let someone with an obvious vendetta against killer whales name them. He should not have. It was personal. It was personal for that guy. He should have sat it out, I think. I'm single. I've been alone for so long at this point that my emergency contact is just 911. Let the cops figure it out. You know, I don't even care anymore. But I went on a date the other night, and it was weird. This girl kept making fun of me for being colorblind. Yeah, to me it was a huge gray flag. I'm Jewish, and we get a lot of flack for circumcision sometimes. And look, I get it. It's a pretty funny tradition. But here's the thing. 80% of men in the United States are circumcised. We're just the only ones doing it for a good reason. I'm circumcised because God told me to be, all right? That's a good excuse. If you're not Jewish, you're circumcised because your parents thought that you would be too stupid to wash an entire penis. That's less of a good... To be clear, I would also be too stupid to wash an entire penis, but that's not my problem. My day job is I'm a background actor, so if anyone doesn't recognize me, that's probably why. And my mom, she's very supportive of my background acting career, but the problem is that my mom, does not fully understand what background acting is. She has a lot of trouble with the word background. I will tell her I got cast in Law & Order, and I'm just going to be a guy walking through the park with no name, but my mom completely stopped listening after she heard Law & Order. So what my mom likes to do is she will organize a watch party, where her and all of our family friends get together to watch what she likes to call my episode of Law & Order. And every time she does this, I will get messages from people who attended this little get-together, and they're like, hey, we saw your episode of Law & Order. Where were you? How come we didn't see you? And it's like, you know why? You know why you didn't see me while I was background acting? It's because I'm great at my job. That's right, because I'm a goddamn professional. That's why you didn't see me all the way in the background. From now on, you don't even call me Dan, all right? You call me funeral goer number 11 if you want my attention. That's right, I'm like Daniel Day-Lewis if he was always out of focus. But can you imagine, it would have had to have gone so badly if they did notice me while I was background acting. Right? Hey, we saw you in your episode of Law & Order. Yeah, you were unmissable as the dead guy who crab walked through the crime scene. All right, cool. Nice. It just says you're doing great. Okay. I have two roommates, and my roommates are a couple. They're dating each other, and they recently got engaged to each other, and they've actually asked me to officiate their wedding, which is amazing. It's a huge honor, but do you know how hard you have to third wheel to literally pronounce the couple man and wife? It's one thing to join a couple while they go and see a movie. It's another thing to join a couple in holy matrimony. On their wedding day, I'm going to be standing in between them. I feel like at this point, it would be less humiliating to just sleep at the foot of their bed like a little dog, right? Most people's roommates are like, hey, when are you going to take out the garbage? When are you going to do the dishes? My roommates are like, hey, when are you going to have power vested in you? Also, can you take out the garbage for once? What do you do around here? Me and my roommates, we got a kitten recently, and I love my kitten. It's a big responsibility, but it's worth it. Because in 15 years, I'm going to make an Instagram post that gets a lot of likes. I really am more of a cat person than a dog person. Here's my thing about dogs. Humanity, we went on a 10,000-year breeding campaign to try to create the perfect animal companion, and all we've done is create an animal that can get all the same mental illnesses that people can get. What do you mean your dog has depression? That's a beast from the outdoors. Your dog has anxiety? How? He doesn't have an email address. Dogs are afraid of fireworks. They're just born with PTSD from the Gulf War, I guess. I don't know what's happening there. Do you also have to be careful about what dogs eat? They're allergic to a lot of weird things. Dogs can't eat grapes. They're extremely allergic to grapes. Dogs cannot eat grapes. Here's something that dogs can eat, though. Dogs can eat poop. That's kind of weird, right? Poop is fine for them. Poop is borderline healthy for dogs, I think. It just goes right through them. For a dog, eating poop is like a human eating corn. Yeah, no, dogs can look at their poop and they're like, oh, hey, yeah, there's that poop I ate yesterday. But they can't eat grapes. They cannot eat. Dogs can be like, that was delicious. Thank you. So hold on, there were raisins in that poop? No! They can't eat chocolate either. That one just seems mean. Dogs are probably like, if you don't want me to eat it, why do you make it look like poop, huh? All right. This just says kill. Okay, cool. Everyone's saying that AI is the future, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I asked AI to write a joke for me. Do you guys want to hear it? Okay, cool. This is a joke that AI wrote. All right. It said, as a language learning model, I cannot write you a joke about the hot rabbit from Zootopia being real and being your wife. As a language learning model, I also cannot accept bribes and would have no way to spend 100 Chuck E. Cheese tokens, even if, as you insist, they were not stolen. Here are some resources. So I think my job is safe, guys. I think we're good. You know, they say that 80% of all car accidents happen within a mile of your house. That's why I speed out of my driveway at 60 miles an hour every day. You gotta get out of there as fast as possible. It's not safe, guys. I hope that I die of natural causes tonight. No, okay. I feel like if you were on your deathbed surrounded by loved ones, that there would be a lot of social pressure to die. You know, I'm shy. I don't think I'd be able to do it. Everybody looking at me? No, I'd go into remission. All right, I'll leave you guys with that's the quietest clapping I've ever heard in my life. I know you're right here, but it sounds like you're in an adjacent building across the street. Thank you, I appreciate it anyway. Do you guys know what a PBA card is? PBA card, it stands for Police Benevolence Association. It's those cards that the cops can give out to their friends and families. And if you have one of these cards, it has no official value. Literally all it indicates is, I know a cop. But if you flash it when you get pulled over, there's a very good chance that they just let you go with a warning, which I think is insane. Nothing like this exists for any other profession. Like, imagine if HR called you in, they're like, we've been receiving a number of complaints about you. And you're like, hold on, my cousin works for Human Resources, told me I should show you this. And they were like, all right, just take it easy on the bull rat impressions in the office. Or imagine if I was getting mugged by a stranger and I was like, whoa, hold on. My dad is a stranger? Guys, my name is Dan Feingold. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. Keep it going for the mic. Keep it going for Robyn, David, everyone who went before and after. Go fucking crazy. Thank you, guys. I'm on Instagram, whatever.
And can we get another round of applause? Because this is Dan's first time here. That's super cool. Please come again. You and Sunny Wolf. I want to see you guys here next time and the time after that. And then never again. I'll tell you that soon. Because I don't know. But it's happening. Next up is Dagan Jolte, and after Dagan we have Faith Bugman. So welcome, Dagan.
All right, so here we are, another night in eternity, trying to figure things out and going this way and that way, and before you know it, boom, wow. It's just like this roll. It's an eruption of perfection that kind of like double crosses itself and gets you into the fine stuff. And before you know it, you're like bug-eyed and going like, what's next? What's next? Personally, I'm like kind of spinning. And I find myself insinuating the impossibilities of not being able to understand anything anymore. And that's rather intriguing, as a matter of fact. Being older in years, I think I've put my time in figuring things out, so now it's fair enough to say, let's deconstruct the whole thing and just kind of go surfing and see what shows up. So that requires fashion, it requires makeup, it requires attitude, that's a big part of it, and it requires a certain inner voice that keeps you on track. My inner voice, in case you're interested, is Ulaeya, Ulaeya, and it can hit me anytime at all. You know, I can be walking the dog, I can be climbing a tree, and when that voice hits me, I just like stop and I go, yes, I hear you. I know it's a little corny, but there it is. Yeah, I'm partially an introvert too, but not completely. The goal is to be an introvert when you're alone, and to be an extrovert when you're with other people. And I don't have that quite down yet, and so sometimes the wires get crossed, and I'm able to recalibrate pretty quickly, but sometimes I'll say really strange things in public, and now I realize there's an asset to that, and I'm starting to get a reputation for being like non-sequitarian, so to speak. Get it? And I don't. Anyway, there's that voice. It's all good. I keep telling myself that. Yes, I mean, what? What? No. No way. Yeah. I mean, wow. Really something. I know. So, before you know it, it's like, vroom. Meanwhile, back down here on Earth, we continue working things out. We continue crossing pathways. We continue rattling our brains. We continue kicking the can down the road and coming up with brilliant observations that are rarely accurate, but entertaining all the same. Now is the time for all good men and women to stand up in service of what at this point? I'm not really sure. Your bank account, your well-being, your country. We're not going there. Maybe in service of a higher cause. Something like aliens. I don't know. I hesitate to get too involved in those heady subjects because there's so much at stake. It's better to stay ignorant. And in my case, illogical. I'm finding a lot of comfort in the world of illogic, absolutely. So on we go. On we go. Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. Oh, yeah. See, these are those moments where I really don't know what I'm doing. But I've gotten to this point where I can be kind of naked with you and just be this way. It's good for business. Yeah, it works out in the long run. But it doesn't pay the rent. But that's okay. Rents are too high anyway. Yeah. Are rents too high or are we too low? You know what I mean? Why, back when I was a kid, you could rent a mansion for $10. But when you walked in, what?
Way too short.
No, I didn't get that. Was that a non sequitur too?
No, too short, short of change,
Oh,
high.
I didn't. I know. Wow. Yeah. I've had a lot of friends in my life. They come and they go. That's how it works, right? Here, there, and everywhere. We come and go. That's how it works too. But you don't want to hear that. I did. The timing was off. That's okay though. Just like the two microphones, you know? Yin, yang, positive, negative. So, I have time for one more question.
It's the meaning of life.
What is the meaning of life?
Yes.
Huh. Funny you should ask that. Well, from my studies, I would say the meaning of life stands somewhere between spontaneity and bitterness. And you have to put yourself in the right place at the right angle so that the bitterness actually becomes a motivation to make sweetness, and the spontaneity becomes some sort of a story that you can just kind of ride with into the sunset.
Nice.
Yeah. How's that?
Pretty good.
Okay. Well, I'm having fun, and I guess I'm wrapping it up. I'm not going to talk about politics. I absolutely refuse. I don't even listen to the news. I decided, you know why? Because, you want to know why?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you why. Here we go. Some things are beyond belief. Also, I choose to fill my life with happy things. I was a hippie. You are looking at an authentic hippie here. A young hippie, but a hippie all the same. I drank that Kool-Aid, and I never came down. So I'm all about peace and love, right? Yeah, man, it's the path. It's the way. It's the only way. So we used to call it bad vibes, you know. Don't harsh my mellow. Don't bring me down. Don't bummer. Remember that one? Said, oh man, that's a bummer. So I just don't do any of that. I'm into groovy. I'm into far out. I'm into amazing. I'm into wonderful. I'm into hopeful. I'm into aliens and AI. What happens when they get together? It's gonna happen. I mean, things are speeding up. That's why I don't listen to the news. Things are moving so fast, and the news is so retro. It's moving. Even though they sound like they're full of vital information, their whole vibe is just like, you know, tiptoe around the clock type of thing. And things are starting to elevate. Things are starting to move up in a higher way. All that stuff, all that news, all that new doom and gloom is going to be in the past very quickly. You're hearing it tonight, folks, from a true hippie. Have faith. Don't listen to the news. Get out in nature. Eat good food. Play games. Have faith. And there's that voice again. I must be doing the right thing. All right, I'm going to do a little hoochie coochie dance, and then I'm done. Yeah.
For one, you're wearing a great outfit. Just gotta say it. Really matches. I love the shades of yellow and orange. And second, please read the news. I work for a newspaper. I have to say this. I work for a newspaper. I work for a real newspaper. I literally make the newspaper every week.
What are some of the titles of the pieces that you publish?
House fire. I don't know. It can be really sad. It can be super sad, but you know what? That's life. Life can be really sad.
House fire on Towpath Road.
There was a house fire, not on Towpath Road, but in Accord recently, and it was actually devastating.
Ice accumulates in Ulster County.
I should just let Peter host at this point. He does a better job than me anyway. Please read the news. And if you don't want to read the news, then just read my newspaper. Because it's the best. And I make it. So even though I have no part in what goes in it. The Shawangunk Journal. And I also work for the Kingston Wire, which is local to this beautiful city. We cover everything going on here. So all the good and all the bad and everything in between. We just reported on bagels, because bagels are great. So there you go. That's some good news for you. Bagels.
I'll read that.
Read that. Bagels, everyone loves bagels. And if you don't, because you're gluten-free, I'm sorry. But I love bagels. Okay. Next up is Faith Bugman. And after Faith, I am inserting Angela because we had someone drop out. So next up is Faith and then Angela. Welcome to the stage, Faith.
That's okay. That's okay. Everyone's performances tonight have been so great. I feel like this room is so full of love, and I'm so happy to be here. So, thanks, guys. I haven't actually decided what I'm going to read yet, so I'm going to flip through my things and see what calls to me. This is something I worked on about a year ago, and then I think I'm going to read some stuff just from my current notebook afterwards. Okay, this collection that I wrote is called Becoming a Rock. If you want to find me on the internet, you can just look up my name. It's a pretty rare name, so all my things will come up. It's Faith Bugman, Bugman, Bugman. I have an arts account on Instagram, and I also publish stuff on my Substack, so yeah. This collection, is called Becoming a Rock, and the first poem is called Heads Up. On winter nights, my sadness warms me. Happiness rides on its coattails, strings and snowflakes. Both be born, blissed, bathed, battered, born. Pick up a coin on the sidewalk and flip it. Happy, sad, a lifetime of flipping, flipping, flipping back and forth. Stop. Hold the coin. Slowly turn it. Squeeze it in your palm. Feel it. Both be born, blissed, bathed, battered, born. All at once. This is not about the coin. Bumps and edges, turn it over and over, and put it down. The bedroom. There's baby powder and cocaine all over the floor, all over the floor, all over the sides of my nose. Blood and blisters, brothers and sisters, misters, me dressing like a man, me dressing like a whore. Wow, wow, wow. When I look in the mirror, I know I'll always be at least this ugly. Thank God. Peering into my brown eyes lets me know I will never be alone. God damn it. Faucets above faucets, stripped down the throat. My body is built like a rabbit colony, except there are no rabbits. I am magic, but I am no magician. I cannot pull myself out of a hat. There are other exits. The door, the window, the tunnel in my tapestry, the tunnel in my eyes, the tunnel in my nose. The Lincoln Tunnel, which I used to go through on my way to Buffalo. I used to go through tunnels in my bedroom, now I go through doors. Now I peek through the crack and blow the snow away. I have a house inside my chest. If you open the door, it's a tidy mess. The bedroom is barred and the kitchen is cooking. We're on the roof, watching where the shingles are going. We drop down the chimney. The rug is not stained. There's no stain, I explain. No, 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 there's nothing amiss. It's just a fun house. It comes with a twist. Leaving Jack. What's a bottle of Jack? What's a bottle of Jack except something to be drunk? What's it doing there? Something. Well, it better be doing something in my stomach, something in my blood, something to help me get out of this horrible funk, a thing to help me sink, sank, sunk, fuck. Jack, do you want a sip of this Jack? Help me finish this Jack, except I'm going to drink all of it and you will sit there. What's a boring night except something to make fun? What's it going to become? Something, well, it better, because I am not here to sit around. I'm here to burn up, do something interesting, something dumb, a thing that will make me lovely numb. Your fine face and my 6 tongues, maybe we'll find a place to become smaller than we are. Spin in grass, screech into railroad, swell into lake, scratch a set of hands across each other's back. In the woods, a night can be anything. It can be looking at stars and hearing the drone of bugs, and it can be crawling through the grass, smashed into pieces. It can be petting ants through the dirt and getting bit by bloodsuckers, tents and torrential downpour, hammocks and hallucinations, and the water speaking to us through light. The trees' fingers grappling for our toes and our toes digging back. Numbness, want to join the party? Help me squish you beneath this coin and I'll blow you through the window. I'll pour some liquor on the ground and we'll mostly wish we never knew each other. The bottle will fall and there will be shards all over your grave. The grass won't be able to eat it, and the dirt won't be able to eat it, and I won't be able to eat it, and you'll have to sink further, and I'll have to walk away and walk out of the house into the woods. Thanks. All right. I don't know how I feel about this one, but it seems to go with the theme of tonight, so I'll read it. Growing out. I haven't shaved in weeks. I can feel the wind going through my leg. I can feel the wind pretending to be bugs on my leg. I can feel the wind blowing the bugs on my leg. My bag is patchworked, blues and purples, stitches of gold, pink. My book, upside down, a little home I've constructed, on my blanket, in the grass. In the grass. My water bottle, dented in deer, underage drinking in Himalayan mountains, hiker's high and altitude sickness. It was there when I wanted to die, and it's everywhere I decide to live. Maybe I'm not the same at all. I am still more insane and less. All of it. I am old and warm but cold. Lived a wonderful life, but I am heavy. The heaviest heart ever weighed, so full. I hold it in those moments of simple silence, palms up and blood blooming from my knuckles, blankets, bottles, and bliss. I haven't killed a bug in months, a year almost. I breathe in my fear, breathe out love. I lightly blow, I purse my lips, and I hope the bug grabs wind. I hope I grab wind and you grab wind and we blow together, grass blades coming closer and dancing apart. Okay, now I'm just gonna flip through my little notebook and share some random lines of stuff I've been writing recently. Pretty much all of my poetry comes from me going outside and being struck by something. So that is where my mind is at in most of these. My levels of delusion aren't sly enough, they're far too low. Winter is more purple than any other season. Purple and warm yellow, a dark, homely green that would eat your body over many hundreds of years. You would be dark green. I'd be across the way. I'd be a tree by then because I'll have been long gone. My energy will have had enough time to seep somewhere else. You'd be dark green. Everything takes on the color of the sky, and that's why every season is so different. I miss Pennsylvania sunsets. I've driven across the United States, and I've hiked in the Himalayas, and of all the sunsets, Pennsylvania's are my favorite. I'm not sure what to do with this information except run, ruin myself and return to them, weak but unweary, an old tree. The wind and the sea scream at each other until they make love. Hear their voices go apart and come together. Maybe the wind carries pain and love, or maybe it doesn't hold anything at all. On cold and dry nights, I catch a whiff of the moon, ice and wind, and suddenly my sadness becomes beautiful and I adore the whole fig tree, the whole rotten lot of it.
Nice to have you here. Next up is Angela, and after Angela is Bruce Weber. Welcome to the stage, Angela.
Not only did I not practice, I also haven't played this guitar in years, so I think I should get some kind of award for like least prepared. I mean, kinda. Yours sounded so good. I love the tone. Ruby ran away, hoping for a grand escape. Somewhere skies are blue beyond the sepia haze. But in a whirlwind of change, she found she'd rather stay the same. Closed her eyes and from her heart she sang the old refrain. Gonna get back to what we once knew. Time is marching round the bend, it bears an ugly head. Chucky's scared for what's to come and what's already said. Almost 100 trips around the sun, and even then he prays the next will be as good to him as to his friends. He's not giving up, believing there is more than this. Gonna get back to what we once knew. Gonna get back to what we once knew. Gonna get back to what we once knew. And the ones who hide away until they lose their faith, not in a God above, but in themselves and in love. May time be kind enough to shine a light on what feels dark. May hands emerge to hold the hurt and to warm the heart. May hate not put us out, but give us the fuel to spark, to keep the fire burning even when it feels too hard. Gonna get back to what we once knew. Gonna get back to what we once knew. Gonna get back to what we once knew. Thanks. That was one. Yeah, that was one I wrote for a New Year's event, actually, that Robyn put me on. Trying to, I guess, write forward thinking. I usually write pretty like present tense, but tried to start the year off on a little more of a hopeful note. Let's see where this is. I'm going to play a song. I played this here before, but the guitar that I'm using reminds me of my friend Art, who I wrote a song about. He used to play guitar pretty similar to this one. So I'll play his song if I could find it in here. There we go. It's called The Bench. From where I sit, I'm on top of the world, alone with my thoughts and my old guitar. It gets quiet after midnight and the moon is a pearl. I play my music for the stars. This bench is my stage of finest acclaim, though to naked eyes it seems nothing at all. I know you won't hear me in that old cafe. Just meet me here come nightfall. Every now and then strangers walk on by. I can make a friend, sit and talk for a while. Learning other people's stories as if they're my own, regaled by tales of streets I'll never see. But I couldn't ramble too far from my home. My glory waits here for me. I can travel the globe, I can travel time. It'll never get old, I do it every night. And one day somebody will take on their turn to post up on the bench like some kind of shrine, with wide open ears for all they can learn. The stories of strangers now mine. Thanks.
Thank you, Angela. That was beautiful, as always. Yeah. I mean, seriously, come on. I kind of messed up. Next is not Bruce. I'm sorry, Bruce. You're coming next. Next up is Philip Levine, and after is Bruce Weber, and after Bruce is me. So if you feel inclined to stick around till the end, I'll make it worth your time. No, I'm kidding. Oh, I will.
What, are you going to read a news article?
No one would stay for that. No one would stay for that. And that's okay. That's okay. Maybe next time I'll write something really juicy. Okay, sheesh. And now, welcome to the stage, Philip Levine.
Peter earlier this evening said these days we're writing for the page as opposed to writing for the ear. This was written for the ear. Kind of referred to it as a prose song. Soon. The day is light, and the day is long and has many rooms between the hours. The day also travels a long arc up, and then back down again from middle. And a calculus can count the length and width and area beneath this curve and tell us this place is large and has rooms for many things, many that we know, and many more still. There's a room for joy, with her large, funny hat that bounces as she bounces, with laughter or something like it. And sadness, too, can have a room. She who likes to sleep, who takes naps in the afternoon between top and shadow. And today is also a place I know and go to as if returning. And so I know there is a point or place or time for you and me along this curve of day. A place by a fire where we can burn all our old stories of loss and failure and warm our feet while we do it, because this fire is warm and soothes. And this fire is also hot and dances, and I see it in your eyes, and I know it is in mine, and by this fire I can watch your fingers curl and uncurl and think perhaps they wish to touch. And I can feel mine curl and uncurl too, even as I think to hold them still, but they will not, as they have 10 hearts and minds and desires of their own, and wish to find their mates in yours. So 1 by 1 to 5, then 10, they arch across the spaces there between us, that is, the spaces between mine and yours, and all that could be ours, like your 10, with their 10, their hearts, minds, desires, and all the same as all of mine, and all that dances there in this fire. And soon, together 10 and 10 close and open and close together again, and soon beads of moisture gather there in their folding, and glistening collect the light. And then I risk to think, they will be sweet when tasted, but it is to be waited for like dessert. For is not waiting the sweetest taste of all? For what is it but anticipation that brings a mouth to water, that brings the tongue to swelling, purses lips and opens eyes to wide and wider still? So I am feasting in this waiting, and if we share this waiting, then so we share a feasting, and in this way a feast is made. And by this my heart is quickened, and soon it also pauses, and soon again quickens, and soon again pauses, and soon this hardens, and soon this softens, and soon between the beating, and between the pausing, and between the hard, and between the soft, soon there would be touching. Yes, soon there will be touching, and yes, soon there will be touched. And soon I will, yes, soon you will, yes, soon we will. Yes, soon.
Thank you, Philip. That was lovely. Thanks for reading. Next up is Bruce Weber. Welcome to the stage.
Okay, good. Thanks. Untitled. In the grasp of a long-toothed crocodile, in the purview of a demented dream, in the log jam of a troop of indulgent miscreants, in the pursuit of a glistening blue fish, in the grizzled interruption of a stoic priest, in the disharmony of lonely red planets, in the long rope of the cowardly cop, in the brave arms of a lucky dog, in the quick wink of a nervous nilly, in the ironclad skin of a slimy toad, I will rush into your life like a jagged edge. I will triumph over tiny illuminated toys. I will erupt at poorly chosen words. I will barter with yellow and pink coins. I will tumble salt proper nouns. I will bev forgiveness from the Russian mob. I will laugh all day, running naked in the rain. I will hunker down like a sleeping butterfly. I will grin at the sun till the bear crosses the road. I will hand over my mirth to a sad-eyed lady. I will apportion truth like a big Band-Aid. I will rev up the engine in the tilted factory. I will begin to assume God likes fearlessness. In the broad panorama where lies vanish in the sand, in the slanting memory of a frightened child, in the buttoned-up lips of a private tale, in the tremulous tune of a fidgety harmonica, in the discordant thump of an unhappy genie. I will grant you 3 wishes. I will silence your irritations with squirts of calamine lotion. I will stop to pet you in a 5-alarm fire. I will kneel before you like a sleepy lamb in an illumination by the brothers Lindborg. I will pour gasoline on houses of ill repute. I will juggle my hopes like a circus clown. I will admit you to this poem without an admission fee. I will make you laugh so hard your faith rises up like a geyser in Yellowstone Park. I will circle you like a necklace of pulsing stars. I will warm my hands in the depth of your cave. I will leave my nightmares at the door with a unicorn with a face as gentle as the dawn. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. That was an incredible poem, and your ending really hit me. Thank you for coming and performing. It's always nice to see you here. I was like about to say I'm gonna finish this off, but that sounded really wrong. I'm going to finish this off. I have literally 13 pages of poems here because I can't help myself. I'm going to read like 2. This is just all stuff I've written in the past week since I've been here last. I'm just going to start with the first one. It's called Snow Struck. As I watch the snow fall, it feels as if suddenly, beyond the icy dive bombers, a shape will emerge. Sometimes nothing wants to fall. For years it took me to see it. Frosty candelabras that fizzle and fizzle beneath this storm, behind my eyes, falling into my gut for the 3rd time. And before I realize that time has shifted, I am forgotten in a dirty bed covered in wet clothes, and the windows are open. A sleep that pulls you further and further from the shape that you formed at the start. A dark, ribbon-like streak, a tear, stripping the sky to pieces I can weave into an alternative. But I desire no mutation in the fabric of this moment, which asks for nothing except silence and spectacle, ordinary at best, and desiring and asking nothing. And a child is likely born through the fragments or the lining stretched taut beyond my periphery, and asks of me nothing. And I oblige with what I know best, holding myself high and wishing this day would never end. This snow that is feminine and wearing big gold hoops and an oversized fur coat, glasses covering her eyes and expressive, self-assured lips, a red leather boot and an agenda full of ego death. She drives down this road, emerging from the white speckled glow. Thanks. I'm gonna skip this one. Okay. I wrote this one yesterday. It's called Dead Flowers. I notice the way my smile skews to the left because I'm right-brained, and apparently that's a thing, and for some odd reason I'm backing up down a snowy driveway and there's a deer to my left, stalk straight and still, his left hoof raised, but he's frozen in place and staring right at me, waiting to see who will make the next move. And I looked into a mirror today, and today I saw myself. And he stood behind me and said, "Am I going to be okay?" And I repeated it back, "Am I going to be okay?" My tired eyes and askew smile. And he said, "Now say yes." And I said yes. And there was a woman on the phone who was crying, "Conspiracy, conspiracy." And all I could do was listen. All I could do is say yes, but she said, "No, you don't understand, you can't." And I said yes because I can't. I can't understand, and I fear people whose faces I can't read, and my boss when he starts talking about happy endings, which he refers to as rub and tugs, but he warned me before he was going to say it, like that would make it better, and I laugh and say yes, okay, and felt a rose bloom on my face and cockle shells under my frozen feet as I returned to the space of my undoing. And I unraveled myself into a pile of red sauce or gravy and sat scented of garlic and parsley and attempted to ignore anything that resembled a mirror, which included my computer screen, a kaleidoscope, and your eyes, especially those. But as I creamed my panties a russet red, I knew I was going to be just fine. I was going to see myself as I've never seen me before. And even if it wasn't the me I'd hoped to see, I'd accept this version irrevocably, knowing she'd want it that way, in the way that accepts and sees without conviction, and doesn't turn on the fan just to use the bathroom, and has a green thumb and doesn't think so damn hard, just lives, laughs, loves so damn hard, and it becomes so damn easy to live and laugh and love, even if everything else still sucks, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's great, and yeah, maybe it is. Maybe everything's gonna be just fine. Maybe it is. Maybe when I smile, it'll make you smile too. Make you see the real me, the one that isn't hiding behind the glass, behind the reflection that can only absorb, or in the eyes of a deer early in the morning at the end of some long driveway I shouldn't have drove down, looking at me like he's never seen a woman before, and sometimes I feel the same way. Sometimes I sure do. Sometimes I put roses on your grave just to see if they'll bloom. You, bright-eyed little woman, queen of the underground, a mantle masterpiece, lounging and sleeping on all but a bed of lilies, pomegranate juice rolling off your lips, my mouth gaped open underneath, just hoping to catch a sip. Thanks. I'll read one more. I think this is the last one. Yeah, okay. It's called A Morning Poem, and I wrote this directly after I wrote the previous one last night. I was getting really tired at the end of this, so I started just writing about God, which just comes to my mind when I'm tired for some reason. It's called A Morning Poem. Click my nails against the wall to imitate the patter of rats or shifting in the wind. A casing of matter I bean my way into, held on to later of justice which I speak masterfully, preaching to a crowded room, hoping any word sticks, but the temps are beginning to drop again, and I hold on for dear life like I'm beginning a letter to death, where I speak about produce and dry goods. Why are prices rising? What is the meaning of all this inflation? How can we stop what has been screeching on tracks unoiled and rusted to shit? Fucked on a bed with California still on your skin, and afterwards I bled for days, rejecting that part of it, the sand and rocky shores of ravished love. A piggy bank cracked open, seeping the contents of organic love. Yes, all monetary, and I roll in a heap of it. All smiles and hard-headed, and thanking God my father wasn't a writer and my mother wasn't a preacher, because that role is for me. A prelude to rapture, an epiphany of my breasts pressed against your body, crucified on a pillar of sun-bleached stone overlooking the cargo trains on the other side of the river, while submerging into catharsis, rid of the poison of submission, revoking the right... God damn it. Revoking the right to ruin in the sight of his almighty presence. Oh, benevolent master, how can I rip myself open for you today? Do you want the interior of me, the splashing and curdling of me, all water weight and wasted into dejected protons of love? Yes, love, as you score my skin into sigils of heraldic anointment. But, oh, Holy One, will you wash away my blasphemy in the green waters of liberation? Make me drink the putrid, the wretched, the remains of rats as I click my nails against your porcelain skin, all gentle and delicate, as to not harm or chip, and I click them against it, your hands pressed into prayer and staring up as if assent was secondary to revelation, and I lose all hope instantly. I tear my nails off and lay on the carpet of my dreams, staring up at the whiteness that surrounds me and wonder when I'm going to gather up the courage to get up. Thanks. And that's it. Thank you all for coming. This has been wonderful and entirely unexpected. I I love when so many talented people come into one place and just share art, and it's what keeps me going. So thank you all for being you. Yeah, round of applause for you guys. But I can only clap. Next White Noise is February 11th. Which is exactly 2 weeks from today, which is cool because I'm maybe sticking to a schedule. Probably not, though. See you maybe February 11th, or if not, exactly 2 weeks after that, on February, whatever is that Tuesday 2 weeks later. 25. Thank you, Philip. We have our next event, which is going to be awesome because we have a feature. A local poet named H.R. Webster is going to come and perform, and I'm super excited for you guys to hear her stuff. And yeah, that's all for now. So thank you all for coming. White Noise signing out.